Today on Locked On Rockies. It took until June 2nd, but the Colorado Rockies now have double-digit wins.
You are Locked On Rockies, your daily Colorado Rockies podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Rock on Rockies fans, welcome into the Locked On Rockies podcast for today, the second day of June in the year 2025. I'm your host of the Locked On Rockies podcast, Paul Holden, bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies podcast right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where you can find your team every day. And if your team is the Colorado Rockies, guess what? You're in the right spot, because that's what we do around here each and every day, free and streaming on your favorite streaming services, bringing you, like I said, that daily Colorado Rockies podcast. Be part of the show. Fire off your Rockies hot takes, just like so many of you have been on the Locked On Rockies YouTube channel. Head on over there. Fire off those Rockies hot takes. Let me know what's on your mind. On today's show, a rarity, but we're talking about wins today on the Locked On Rockies podcast. So the Rockies come back after being down 4-1 against the Miami Marlins and are able to pull off a victory that, honestly, I did not have faith in them pulling off. I'll be, as much as it's, easy to just sit there and be the downer that is, the Rockies stink and all this stuff. It was the mix of things of, look at the history of the Rockies playing in Miami. They have not played in Miami historically very well. They are a team that desperately needed an offensive breakout. I believe I saw Patrick Lyons tweet out that this game, when they had scored 5 runs before they eventually go on to score the 6th, this is the most runs they've scored in nearly 2 weeks, I think is what he mentioned. And I'm going to do maybe a quick search here. The 6 runs scored by the Rockies is the most that the Rockies have scored, and the first time that they have scored at least 5 runs since May 21st against the Phillies there. So they had a 14-run outburst against the Diamondbacks as well. So yes, it had been, nearly 2 weeks in between Rockies plating 5+ runs in a ball game, and it happened off the bat of Hunter Goodman, a couple of long balls there too, something that the Rockies always struggle to do on the road. Hunter Goodman continuing to show that he's got a bright spot here with this team. The catching stuff is a little suspect, but as it breaks down with that play, it didn't get called, and Goodman backed himself up. During the game, we had Hunter Goodman, kind of looking at, and that classic, oh boy, ball gets thrown away, multiple runs score in the first inning. The Rockies are in trouble here. Especially my other main concern out of this, not only with the Rockies falling behind early and their usual lack of offense and such here on the road, was, the fact that they were barreling up German Marquez, and that's a problem not only for German, but a lot of Rockies starting pitching, especially when the opponents are hitting the ball for against the Rockies, they are crushing it. I mean, what was it, 6 doubles that German gave up in this one? Navigated the traffic, got some big strikeouts, got some big moments that they needed in the ball game, but at the same time, let me clear my throat here real quick. When they were hitting and when they did make contact, it was loud, it was hard. We saw, again, multiple extra base hits brought up. Great to see German be able to bounce back and put himself in a position where he can, get out of the jams, prevent the damage, and all the damage happening in I think all of it happened in the first inning. No, it was first and second inning, back-to-back innings there with the runs scoring. So great sign, right? But when we're still talking about, like we last time we talked about German, we were talking about there has been some flashes, there have been some moments of, hey, there are some signs here, there are some signs of the rebound here, but that is just such the tough spot with Rockies pitching so far this year is that when they are getting hit, and yes, you can point to some Rocky starters examples. I think most of them now have taken enough games and had enough kind of bad performances that this kind of adds up. When they get hit, it's a lot of hits, it's a lot of runs, it's a lot of loud contact, it's extra base hits, it's home runs, it's damage dealing hits. It's as much of the Rockies have been dinked and dunked and kind of hit with small things. They have also run into some issues with their starters not being able to miss the bats, and when they do, and when the opponents do make contact, they're able to hit the ball real hard. I wanted to first off mention that today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Monarch Money. When take control of your finances with Monarch Money, use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Got to give some shout outs to our title sponsors there. But still, it's a bummer, right? It's frustrating, but one of the benefits, I think, of this rotation for this team is the fact that these guys have been able to show that they can take some on the chin and keep it close. And the Rockies responded by backing up Herman, by getting those runs going a little bit, starting off the game with the run. And the broadcast pointed this out. Very frustrating that the Rockies can't even maintain, get a lead and then hold on to it for more than an inning. It seems like in these beginning parts of the ball game. Set the tone there again, and I think hopefully the win kind of will beef up the confidence a little bit of the club going up against, hey, Marlins. They got 23 wins. I think a lot of people that's probably outperforming what a lot of people thought of them this year. They have been surprising in certain moments. They got guys that can strike people out. And that Sanchez guy is just a Rockies killer. But you have the momentum, and you're finally matching up against a team that on paper isn't supposed to dominate you the way that you've been dominating other ones. Carry that, build off of that, and hopefully we can see that throughout the rest of the series here, and see the Rockies, if they're able to jump out ahead. And they got Sandy coming up tomorrow. I mean, and it's kind of like the weird thing too. I think Sandy and a lot of Rockies fans can kind of be in that same mindset of hey, Sandy might not be himself, but he can show flashes. He can do stuff. He is a pro. He is a really good pro. We'll see how that impacts it and challenges this young Rockies lineup. I mentioned that we can relate to it because coming back from injury, a lot of expectations, hasn't quite lived up to it. We'll see now what that means for him. Again, I think if you're an opposing pitcher and you got the Rockies coming into your ballpark, you kind of are licking your chops and are looking forward to an opportunity to get a get right game. I think for a lot of teams and a lot of people, the Rockies are that get right game, that get right series, that get right whatever. And the Rockies now have an opportunity to not only win their first series of the season, but do it early in the series. A rarity that the Rockies, when they win, has it been at the beginning of the series. Go out and win this series. Go out. Hey, if it's going to be your first series win, why not have it be a road series against a former top pitcher in the league, a guy that's trying to, recapture and recreate what he's able to do. Build off of this momentum. I mean, we hopefully this means the offense can kind of keep in a little bit of a rhythm, especially with the new look on offense that we're seeing here with the amount of different names and faces here in the lineup. I mean, when you look at who's in the lineup for the Rockies here, Hilliard, Tovar, Beck, Goodman, Estrada, McMahon, Doyle, Arcia, Herrera, Freeman, all of them. And I don't quite, there's a lot of new names in there that haven't been there for a whole chunk of the season for the Rockies. So we'll see what that is. Keaston didn't do himself any favors there with that base running blunder there after getting on base late in the ball game, but was able to get driven in anyway. And we'll have to keep our eyes on too as what happened to Ezequiel Tovar. I'm recording this pretty close to after the game right now, so I'm doing a quick Google to see if there was anything that's popped up against or about Ezequiel Tovar here. Said felt something in his body. Let's see. I don't necessarily know what that means. We'll have to keep an eye out, though, of how serious this possible injury is. But man, that would stink to lose Tovar again in this season. But so that's my mic. Like I said, everydayers know my mic stand loves to betray me here, even at the new look, the new set, doesn't matter. So yeah, those are just kind of the big musings, the big thoughts about last night's game, the game there. And hey, a rarity where you can celebrate. We talked with Connor about playing more respectable baseball. And the Rockies started that game by not playing respectable baseball, throwing it away down early against a team that isn't all that great. But they bounced back. They played a game in which, hey, it wasn't a lot of blown opportunities. They got the big home runs. They got some big hits. They had big performances from the bullpen, shutting the door and getting them coming out there and making it, picking up for Herman and really changing the script of the game there. And it was definitely a clear difference when they came in versus how they were looking against Herman to start the game. So it's only win number 10. But it's a good win for the Rockies, and it sets them up for success. Let's keep talking about the good stuff here, especially Hunter Goodman and his impact, and lots more coming up on today's episode of Locked on Rockies. Before we do that, though, got to tell you about the folks that help make this show possible, and that includes Supply House. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades. Supply House. Whether you're into plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is easy. It's easy and reliable because it's got you covered for all the products you need online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. If you need help with an order, Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. Yes, a real person. And trade pros are going to get their extra edge for their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage. Now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5. That's promo code SH5 for 5% off your order at supplyhouse.com/TM. This is the Locked on Rockies podcast for free and streaming on your favorite streaming services, bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies talk right here on the Locked on Podcast and Network, where you can find your team every day. Hey, we are feeling good about the Rockies here, and of course, the comments I have available have not been able to be posted against a winning Rockies game. So we'll see what Rockies fans think of the series opening win against the Marlins. But clearly, lots of work still left to be done in this series, and lots of work left to be done for the Rockies. 2 errors in that game, but again, hey, they're not the cleanest game, but we saw the Rockies score in 5 out of the 9 innings. We saw them have double-digit hits with 12 of them to be scoring 6 times. So, being able to drive those runs in there. And it was capped off and highlighted again by Hunter Goodman. Again, when Hunter Goodman doesn't have to, he does everything here. But I think when we're noticing not only when you can get him comfort, but when this team doesn't have to press and do too much and can get themselves into a little bit, when they have a little bit more of the confidence here, they can do some damage here. And Goodman and Estrada are a nice little combo there in the middle. It was interesting to see Rymack not play on defense and still DH there instead of the full day off. I'm kind of curious what that might mean, or if there's any sort of kind of philosophy behind that. But again, I guess my main point is I just think that if the Rockies can keep putting some of these young guys in positions for them to be successful, and it's easier said than done. I'm just saying this was an example of, hey, the Rockies could go into this game feeling a little bit more juiced, feeling a little bit more energized. When you're down 3 in the beginning of the game to the Mets, to the Dodgers, to the Yankees, to all these teams that they've played, it can seem a little bit more daunting. But I think that Goodman goes out there, they score, and they're chipping away in the beginning part of that game, and then you're going up more confident in those later at bats to go out there and do some damage and get the job done. And it's great to see that in this game the Rockies were getting contributions from just about everybody in the lineup. I think that every starter had a hit in this game. Let me double check the box score here. Everyone but Arcia, but he did have a walk. So every single one, starter getting on base at least once, and so that's a huge benefit there, and a good sign for a shakeup a complete roster shakeup as the Rockies continue to look for a combination of guys that will help get them out of this. And we'll see what happens as they move forward here. We mentioned it was tough with Germán giving up the 9 hits and the barrels there and a lot of extra base hits and stuff. But on the flip side, is able to come back and get big strikeouts when he needed to get the strikeouts, 6 of them in that ball game. So when it's not the sharpest there for Germán, right? When you're looking at 9 hits given up, 9 hits allowed, and how much they were, for him to be able to keep the damage to only the 3 earned runs and you know, a couple of walks in there too. But instead of it getting out of hand, instead of it getting completely out of you know, blown out of proportion, the Rockies kept it close. The Rockies were able to lean on each other, both the offense and the defense, and get the job done against a team where they're not going to have the same amount of constant threats and depth in the lineup. Miami, you know, again, surprising team that's performed pretty well to start the season off. But again, I think that today's game, though I was a doubter, when the Rockies went down multiple runs, I'm sitting there saying toast. I'm not afraid to admit that as someone, you know, how could you not be a doubter in that situation? When the game kind of starts exactly how you're worried about it, loud contact from Germán, traffic, blowing the early lead. It's like, you know, nightmare. But again, then it's kind of like, again, the Rockies seem like they took a deep breath. They didn't give up. And I'm not saying the Rockies have given up before. It's just that they seem like I don't know. And this is just totally me and just making a guess on it. But it just seemed like something about that game, they felt like a little bit more in control of their own destiny, right? And I think that was in the back of their minds as well, especially because that game was close throughout. You know, once the Rockies were able to not only get back on the scoreboard and get the score going, it was a tight ball game there throughout, and the Rockies got 7 shutout innings after the stumble out the gate for Germán. The rest of the 7 innings is scoreless for them, and in fact, after that, after Germán exits and in the 5th, Miami only gets 2 more hits throughout the rest of the ball game, and the Rockies bullpen is also able to pick up a couple of strikeouts. It was just the complete game that has eluded them so much, including late in that ball game where it was a 1-run ball game for most of it, and then they got that 6th run, that little bit of extra insurance, especially with the way the 9th starts, right? Where they get a guy on, where it's immediately, you know, and then the ball is hit weakly into right field, and you're sitting there and it drops, and you're like, oh no, here it goes. It's already cooking for Miami to start getting things going, especially when you remember what happened for the Rockies against Miami last year specifically. But then they fire, they don't give up on the play. They stay heads up and they fire it to second base to get the lead out still, to get the out, you know, still a runner on first, but better than the lead runner at second. It's still in the situation that you were in, you know, going in there. You had a base runner on with 1 out, boom, get the ground ball right after that, get the double play, end the inning and end the threat and get the win. I mean, that was that was as well executed as an end of a ball game that we could have hoped for the Rockies in this one. And I know it's crazy to be making a big deal out of the Rockies closing out a close ball game against the Marlins, but this is how you start getting back on the right track. You have to take advantage of this opportunity against the Marlins, right? I mean, this is again a winnable series for this team. You got 2 more chances to win this ball game here, or win this series against Miami, until you have Mets, Giants, Braves, Nationals, Diamondbacks, Dodgers, Brewers, Astros. You know, I mean, this is your winnable series. This is your best chance to start waving away some of this, to start building some momentum, to start stealing some wins from these other guys, to start turning some part of the season around, some little moments of it to maybe avoid the historic trajectory, because it ain't going to get any easier. So again, it's important that the Rockies come back and win this ball game. It's important that the Rockies, go out and think we need to not only win this series, but try to sweep this series. If you're trying to get yourself back on track, you have to give that mentality to yourself and make that a possibility and create those opportunities to do so. Or because you're not facing another team that is you're going to be equal or close to equal with until the 4th of July, where you have the White Sox at home. I mean, so this is again for key moments in the season to start having some parts of it start turning around, and for it to avoid the worst parts of the history. You have to win this series. You have to win. You have to go out and win this series, and that will build some confidence as you return home for an ideally a situation where it's going to be tough, because you got that Mets team that already that just saw your pitching staff that's ready to lock and load into a Coors Field series. But who knows? Maybe it gives you the right energy and the right mindset, and you make it a weird weekend at Coors. You make it a weird homestand against with a Giants team whose offense hasn't been that great this season. It'll be an interesting thing. It's a place to see where the Rockies build from this. And again, it's a small thing, but it's where do you grow? Where do you go from here? And how do you get better on from this point in the season? I mean, it's not like it's something where if they lose this series, they lose everything. But when you have rare moments and rare opportunities, you got to take advantage of them, especially in a season when you've had so few of those. I know I'm kind of rambling a little bit about it. I mean, it's not been a position that we've seen the Rockies in as much this year, but it's just there are some storylines that can spin off of this, and we'll see where we go from there. Let's take a look at the matchup for tomorrow as the Rockies are getting ready to try to win back-to-back games and get themselves into their first series win of the season. We'll talk about that coming up next on today's episode of Locked On Rockies. Before we do that, though, got to tell you about the folks that help make this show possible, and that includes Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. When you start using Monarch, you're going to realize just how much you were spending on food delivery. Now you can budget smarter and save more. I'm a person that likes to eat out a lot myself, so this is a very helpful tool for someone like me. And you don't have to juggle multiple apps. You can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. And good news here, if you're someone like me that's recently married, managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off. That's half off your first year. Back at it here today on the Locked On Rockies as we're wrapping things up of game one. Exciting to be fun, to be pumped up for a rare Rockies win. But like we said, and kind of my main takeaway of the ramble of the second segment there was just build off of this, get some consistency, do some growth. Like it's annoying that we have to go through 8 losses, 1 win for the Rockies. It's just obnoxious that they're putting themselves in these situations to not be able to follow these up. So again, this is the Marlins. It's not the Cubs. It's not the loaded teams that you've played. Follow this up with a good performance. Back up your, bring the offense again. Try to recreate what you did today. Baseball is very different every day. I understand that. But it's about recreating it. It's about it's about that consistency. It's about doing it again. And we'll see if the Rockies are able to do it. They got a young guy on the mound here in Tanner Gordon. To talk about the difference in experience here on the bump tomorrow between Tanner Gordon taking on Sandy Alcantara there. Gordon in 17 innings pitched. He's got the 10 strikeouts, 3 walks there, only allowed the 2 home runs, 20 hits in that time. So again, it's not like I don't think anything's been too out of the ordinary there for Tanner as he's making what should be his fourth start so far this season. And the Rockies going up against Sandy Alcantara here. And here's again, you hear that name and you think the Rockies, and you're thinking danger situation. And when the strikeouts certainly will be the thing to watch tomorrow. But Sandy's ERA right now is 8.47. He's got a whip of 1.67. He's walked 29 batters in 51 innings pitched and allowed 8 home runs, 40 strikeouts in that time. So again, the strikeout still part of that, and the Rockies a strikeout prone team. But this is not the bulletproof Sandy Alcantara, the Cy Young Sandy Alcantara that we're used to here. Maybe it's, the matchup isn't going to favor what you're looking at here for the Rockies in this one. You might look ahead to the next one. But again, why wait? Why not just go out there and get the job done against a guy that's trying to rebound and bounce back in his season here. Sandy has now, they did win the last time Sandy was on the bump, as ESPN continues to autoplay ads with audio. But when you look at here, Sandy has not gone further than 5 2/3 in his last 5 starts, and that was against the White Sox. And he threw a loss against the White Sox there. He has allowed in his last 5 starts at minimum 5 hits in that time. He's had 7 in his last, 7 in 4 or 2 out of those last 5 in the last 2 appearances, and the earned runs have all been big crooked numbers against Sandy of late, and that includes a couple of games at home, not just road performances with Sandy going on the road here. So again, this is an opportunity for the Rockies to use maybe this new look in the lineup. Some guys that, some more of the veteran guys, maybe a little bit more patient, that can draw some of these walks. Another thing that sticks out about Sandy's recent stat lines here: a few walks in the last ball game, and in the last 5, 4 in his last appearance, 2 in the 2 starts before that, 3 against the White Sox, and then only 1 against the Dodgers here. So it's certainly not a pitching line that is crazy or crazy intimidating, but it is a guy that we know is really good, and we know it's a guy that can be successful against a team that struggles against the strikeout like the Colorado Rockies. So we'll see how they handle it. We'll see how they go into this game. But if the Rockies can capitalize, if the Rockies can keep the offensive momentum going, if they can reproduce another double-digit hit day, including some ones that leave the yard, they're going to be putting themselves in a good spot as long as their young pitcher Tanner Gordon can help them out, and the bullpen is also able to do what they did as well. So this is it's certainly a game to be a little bit more curious on, something that back of your head tells you, of course, it's the Rockies and they're in trouble, but it's also one that you're sitting there saying they got a chance. They have the opportunity is there, and then of course they got that game 3 as a possibility as well. I mean, it's just the Marlins. It's only win number 10, but it will matter. The little victories will matter for confidence. It will matter for the team. It will matter for the club for things going forward. It is important that the Rockies come out to play tomorrow and handle the business, or today, I guess, if you're watching this during it. We'll see what happens. And still plenty of concerns, certainly. Again, 2 errors. You never like to see that. The base running blunder at the end of the ball game, certainly tough. It wasn't perfect. But to come out on top and win that game, that's something the Rockies haven't done a lot this year. Let me know what you thought in the comments. We had a lot of comments and a lot of people checking in on the first one, but we're gonna stay with the positive stuff. I won't forget some of those comments because some of them are good, and I want to dive into some of the topics you all brought up from Monday's episode as we continue to rock and roll through Locked On Rockies this week. Thank you so much for making us your first listen of the day. We're free and streaming on your favorite streaming services. And again, we appreciate you making us your first listen of the day. For your second listen of the day, go check out Locked On MLB with our pal Sully, or Locked On MLB Game Night, coming to you for all the post-game action, getting you all sorts of coverage from around the world of baseball. You got more Colorado sports coverage available to you on the Locked On Podcast Network as well. Locked On Broncos, Avalanche, Nuggets, and Buffs, all free and streaming on your favorite streaming services. Until next time, I'm Paul Holden saying so long from the Locked On Rockies podcast.